There you go. All right. Good morning. Welcome to our Unity Church of Delaware Sunday service. We're blessed with another beautiful sunny day, and dogs are happy about that, mostly happy about these little treats that they like to get on Sunday mornings. They start lining up well in advance, don't you, Bella? Here's a couple for you. You're being so well-mannered. So thank you so much for joining us today. It is March 7th, still in the Lenten period, so I thought I would share a couple of Lent jokes, a little Lent humor, I guess. Just some quotes from people talking about what Lent means to them, what Lent is. So I thought some of them were a little bit funny. Lent is when we give up our worst vices with the understanding that in about a month we'll indulge them with twice the fervor. That's pretty good. Here's one I thought was funny. Lent is when I determine which addictions I may still have some control over. Lent is a Catholic holiday, one person said. The one day a year when your coworkers go, "Surprise, I'm religious." Here's another one I think a lot of people can go with. I finally decided what I'm giving up for Lent this year. Moderation.
That's a nice.
Good one. Here's one, a little play on words. I've made a spreadsheet of all the things I'm giving up for Lent. It's excellent. Excellent. Good, huh? Okay. And I thought this one was kind of cute. You know when is the best time to run a marathon? During Lent. That's when you fast. That's when you fast. And finally, I'm giving up negativity for Lent. We'll see how long that lasts. A little tongue-in-cheek. Okay, you guys, have you had enough treats? All right, we're going to send you packing, and we'll go on into prayer then. Okay, guys?
Send the pack packing.
Send the pack packing. Thank you guys for attending church today. Yes. Okay. Good job. Good job all round. All right. Thank you again for joining us this morning for this special half hour of a spiritual message, a couple of songs, and some prayer together. And we'll invite Joe to come over here and invite these guys to get packing. Off with you. Off you go.
They're not leaving.
Buddy, you're going to give Joe your seat. And I invite you to think about
buddy.
what you want to be lifting up in prayer this morning. Prayers for yourself, your loved ones, your neighbors, your community, prayers for our world, prayers for the earth. We're very inclusive in our prayers because we know it is a powerful thing to be holding the highest in mind and heart for one another and for all living beings everywhere. I invite you, if you have a prayer request you'd like to share, don't mind making it public, put it in the comments section so we can join you in prayer and hold you in prayer yourself or anyone else or any other situation you're lifting up. Or at any time, you can send in a prayer request confidentially to Unity Delaware, Ohio. .org. Go to our website. There's a prayer request tab at the top that comes directly to me. So I invite you to include us. Let us support you in prayer. So we're going to go into prayer with a song of our own this morning. It's I called it the Hidden Treasure Chant years ago. I think it goes back to about 2009. And just my theme today is about the treasure chest within us, and it just made me think of this old song. When you're walking in the dark of night, lift your head and clear your sight. You are living underneath a sky full of stars and radiant light. Heaven spread across the earth we see, always hidden there for you and me. Like a treasure someone buried near, love awaits us all and holds us dear. When you're walking in the dark of night, lift your head and clear your sight. You are living underneath the sky, full of stars and radiant light. Heaven spread across the earth we see, always hidden there for you and me. Like a treasure someone buried near, love awaits us all and holds us dear. sing that once more now that I've got rid of the treats. Thank you, buddy. When you're walking in the dark of night, lift your head and clear your sight. You are living underneath the sky, full of stars and radiant light. Heaven spread across the earth we see, always hidden there for you and me, like a treasure someone buried near. Love awaits us all and holds us dear. Love awaits us all and holds us dear. As we close our eyes for a moment, let us just hold that idea in mind, in heart. There is a treasure within us, a treasure chest, a rich resource of divine qualities, of wisdom, of love, of peace that is unshakable, that is within each one of us, that we can draw upon at all times and in all circumstances for healing, for guidance, for encouragement, for comfort, for support. The wealth of God within us. How grateful we are to know that at all times and in all circumstances, we are one with that power and presence. We know that truth for ourselves this morning, for everyone in our community, for living beings across the earth. We are one with the living God, and all is well. So it is. Amen. All right.
Amen.
Amen. Well, that was a little tough getting into that prayer song with Buddy, kind of nagging for more treats.
It's funny.
I need to remember to put that treat jar farther away.
Because our dogs are never annoying.
All right. Well, sharing some ideas related to our treasure chests this morning. It's something I've just been thinking about a lot this week. We all have treasures within us that we're not always aware of, or that we don't perceive the vastness of. We tend to think of our treasures, what we have, our assets, in too materialistic of terms, I think. Made me think of a commercial that was on for a number of years, I think for some kind of credit card company, I don't recall, but the repeated question was, what's in your wallet? And of course, it's that sort of the materialistic kind of interpretation of what what our assets are, what our riches are. They're material things, and that theme, that idea runs through our culture in lots of ways. I was thinking of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, where they're always going after treasure, and it's always defined by gold and gemstones and trinkets, kind of external material things. But now is a time, I think, it's a time of healing in so many ways still. Personal healing, physical healing, as well as mental, spiritual healing. After a difficult year, a year we've been called to make a lot of adjustments and do a lot of things we didn't think we were going to have to be doing this past year. So it's a time to kind of dig a little deeper in our treasure chests, I think, for those deeper resources we have. It isn't just about possessions or material goods. It's about inner qualities, intrinsic treasures that we all have because of our deep connection with God in us. Every one of us is possessed of these divine qualities, and we have the opportunity and responsibility, really, to draw from that treasure chest for our own healing and for the healing of our world. I've been reading a book, and I saw an interview with Ariel Berger. He's a rabbi, I believe, Ariel Berger, and he was talking about his sense of our responsibility in healing and in our spiritual growth and transformation. He said he sees it as like God is a painter who had then gave us the paintbrush and said, "Go make something beautiful." And that's how we do it. It's like our job is to surprise God, is to draw on that creative ability that's given to us. It's in our treasure chest because God is creator. God is that creative source to draw upon that to create something beautiful in our lives, in the world. And Rabbi Berger is talking about that's really, we need to embrace our creativity and our divine qualities within in service of our healing, our own and each other's. And I think if we think of our gifts too narrowly, we kind of fail in meeting that kind of responsibility. Like an artist, who's given a huge palette with lots and lots of colors and brushes, and we kind of use the same brush and the same couple of colors over and over and over again. Our treasure chests are vaster than we can even imagine, and we are meant to draw on that, I think, for our healing and for our mutual benefit and for our spiritual growth. And whenever we do that, it's a tremendous blessing to us all. Whenever we get that guidance that comes to us to share this is something you have to do or to share, it'll be a healing blessing for us all. We have lots of spiritual teachers, instructions on drawing on our inner treasure and what our real treasure chests are all about, what our deepest resources are all about. Jesus has some powerful teachings on treasure, hidden treasure, buried treasure, things like that. He talks, and he certainly makes the very strong point, it's not about material treasures. Those aren't our priorities. Don't store up for yourself treasures here in the material realm. He says, store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. And he's not talking about heaven as a geographical location somewhere in the sky. He's talking about that state of mind, that state of grace we live in when we realize our God connection. He said, put your focus there, your priorities there, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. We want to put it on our highest good, on that power and presence of God in us and what that makes possible. He talks about that as the most important thing there is in the world. He said, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. And then in his joy, he sold all that he had to buy that field. I've always loved that teaching. To me, it's about when we make that discovery of our God connection deep in us and what that makes possible for us, the flow of guidance, of healing energy, of joy, of greater freedom, of peace that means for us. When we realize discover that source, we realize it's more valuable than anything. That becomes our commitment. Put that first. Your relationship with God, put that first. You're all in. That's your priorities are in alignment. That's your commitment. I think that's what that teaching is about. Buy the field where the treasure is. When you discover that, put everything you have into it. And then finally, one more teaching from Jesus on treasures, I think. At least I think it's about hidden treasure. It's from the Thomas Gospel. And he says, when you bring forth what is within you, what you have will save you. And I think that's a very powerful teaching about bringing out that treasure from within that comes from our divine connection, our God connection, that it has redemptive power, saving power, healing power. Powerful teachings about our treasure chests within us. And fortunately, there are wonderful kind of enactments of it's going on all the time. People getting these divine ideas to share something from within themselves, from their treasure chests, and putting it out into the world in a way that's deeply healing for themselves and for whoever their lives touch. And I had trouble this week coming, kind of picking among these wonderful stories that are out circulating about people doing that. Even this difficult year, or in the past couple of years, stories that I've been struck by, like one I heard maybe a year ago was a Steve Hartman story. He was in a park in Hartford, Connecticut, interviewing a man who did haircuts there one day a week for the homeless of the city. And it's in Bushnell Park in Hartford, Connecticut. He sets up as a chair on a lawn chair or something on the sidewalk in the park. It's under an oak tree, and he hooks up his hair clippers to a car battery, That runs his clippers, and of course he's got his scissors, and he does free haircuts on Wednesday afternoons for anyone in need of it. He's actually was a retired real estate guy. He just looking around, who knows what was in him that urged him to want to do something like this. And he noticed that the homeless, that most people don't even see on the streets, that they were shaggy and in need of attention. They needed haircuts. And he started doing this, offering them. And now he's been doing it now for 25 years, every Wednesday afternoon in the park. They call him Barber Joe. His name is Joe Samaris, which I thought was so interesting. It's kind of like Samaritan, just a striking kind of connection with the Good Samaritan. And he does this, free of charge. And he does the full thing. He doesn't just kind of a quick clip and off they go. He'll massage their scalps with lotion if they're dry. He'll do a little massage on the scalp or on the neck. He trims them up and sends them on their way, talks to them about how they're doing, how they're feeling, and then off they go. And he's got regulars that come to him all the time, and nearly all of them give him a hug on the way, when they're leaving. That's his pay, I guess. He gets the hugs and even I love yous from some of these guys who it's probably the only time all week long that somebody touches them kindly. It's just kind of remarkable. And the journalist, the interviewer, asked him, what that feels like, and he says, "This is my family now." He said, "They're really my family. Everyone should have such family." I thought, what a lovely idea that is. Everyone should have such a family, which means seeing everyone in our communities, actually seeing and engaging with and treating one another with kindness. It's I don't think you can underestimate what his touch, what his kindness means to each of those individuals. How healing that is for them, people who feel so invisible and so isolated and out of the flow of our communities and culture, to be touched in such a warm way. There's a tremendous healing energy in that, and it must have done a lot for Barber Joe to be doing it after 25 years. It must have done a lot for him inside, healing he may not have even needed, known that he needed. A greater sense of purpose in life, more family, more connections with others. Wonderful story of treasures being shared, treasures of loving kindness. And then I thought about during the week a story I'd shared couple of years ago. I guess it was when it first came out, about a girl who her mother was a nurse she visited several nursing homes in Harrison, Arkansas, I think is where it took place. And this little girl, she was 11 years old, started noticing the people in the nursing homes that seemed so lonely and looked like they just needed attention, needed things. And she began to ask them if there were some little things she could get them, she could bring them. And she asked them for 3 wishes. Some of you might remember this was in the news for a couple of years ago. So she'd ask these elderly residents in these nursing homes what would their 3 wishes be. And at first she thought, well, it would be money, it would be big things. But it turned out it wasn't. It was little things like a pair of slippers or a soft blanket, or one man wanted an electric razor, and a lady wanted an avocado, and lots of people wanted Vienna sausages, which I thought was very strange. I do remember them from my youth, the little cans, of Vienna sausages. They're very popular, apparently, among elderly residents of nursing homes. And she began getting these different items, and she got some help. Maybe her mother helped her set up a little GoFundMe account to help with expenses. But again, it's not big stuff. Nobody wanted a car. And you could tell watching this little girl go in and out of residents' rooms, it was as much about the kindness and the talking and sharing things that they liked with each other, and the hugs. It was more about that than anything else. I was struck as I was remembering that story. I didn't remember the girl's name or anything, but I looked it up afterwards online. And her name is Ruby. And I thought, well, that's, what a treasure. She's a treasure. And she tapped into the treasure within her to share with others, young Ruby. And this past year, it's been going on during COVID. I noticed the website She's got it's called 3 Wishes for Ruby's Residence, if you want to look it up. And she still, even during COVID, has been setting things up to mail special cards or drop off gifts for residents at her nursing home. So it's an ongoing thing. What a blessing! And when she was asked how it feels to her, when she gives little gifts to these residents, I thought she just sounded like a mature woman, this 11-year-old. She said, well, it lifts you up. It lifts you up, she said, at age 11. I think that's amazing. She's talking about the healing energy of that, the uplift, when you bring something forth from your inner treasure chest, some kindness, some generosity to share with others, some abundance. Real abundance isn't necessarily expensive stuff, it's comfort stuff. It's things you want, things you remember fondly, and little Ruby seemed to know that well. I just think that's really inspiring. And this year, she's been continuing her efforts, and I've thought about so many of us, ourselves included. We've tried to visit as often as we can an elderly couple in an assisted living center. Not able to go in this year. I know many of you have had the same experience, and visiting at windows, people talking through windows, having conversations from outdoors, because that's as close as we've been able to get. Even singing songs people do. I remember reading a story online about a man singing Amazing Grace for his wife inside an assisted living center room. I never thought I would be reading the daily word or leading the prayer for protection outside a window at a nursing home. But we've been doing that this year, and by no means the only ones. Lots of people doing that. And I think it's wonderful what people manage to figure out how to do, even under difficult circumstances. People are guided from within. God leads the way. The ideas emerge about how to share the treasures in your heart, in your mind, how to share your creative gifts, how to come up with unique ideas to get your love and your wisdom and your energy and your talent out into the world. And it's healing. It's healing for us as those ideas come to us. They do lift us up, and they lift up others. And this is a time in our lives, time in our history, when we need to be drawing on that treasure chest in every way we can. So let's just take a moment in prayer as we contemplate that idea for just a moment. What a rich storehouse of treasures is within each one of us. We are God-connected beings, drawing, and we have at our disposal, available to us, tremendous gifts, vast treasures within of wisdom, of peace, of beauty, of kindness, of abundance, of healing energy that comes direct from source in us that we can make ourselves channels of and send out into the world. It will lift us up. It will lift others up. It will lift up our very world. How grateful we are to the life of God in us that makes this and all things possible. So it is. Amen. 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 All right. Well, I want to share just a couple of announcements, really not very much. We had a wonderful workshop with Reverend Robert Brummett was that last Sunday? It seems like a long week. It was just last Sunday, but it was it was really a stimulating and a helpful meditation workshop that Reverend Brummett shared with us. I know many of you enjoyed it as well. We might have him back again sometime down the road. He said he would be happy to do that. He enjoyed us. Always good to hear. Yeah. Always good to hear. So thank you all for making that possible. I want to just remind everybody, including myself, that next Sunday, daylight savings time begins. I can hardly believe that. It seems so early. But yeah, March 14th will be the first day of daylight savings time next Sunday. So we'll want to remember Saturday evening to set our clocks spring ahead. Spring ahead, right, an hour ahead. I want to thank all of you for your ongoing support all through the year. week after week, your donations into the church, your prayerful support. That's how we are coming through this interesting time in our lives. We're coming through together as a community, thanks to our mutual support and our prayers with and for one another. So thank you all for being with us in that week by week. Thank you to Joe, as always, for his technical support and expertise and musical talent and all his many, many gifts. He's always improving our technology in some way, looking for different things. So we're grateful. And we are especially grateful this morning. We have an old friend with us this morning by virtue of the wonders of recording, because he's still in Florida, I believe, or maybe heading back here soon. But our good friend Ralph Leeseberg was kind enough to record a song for us and allow us to lay a couple harmonies on top of it, which we did in the studio here at the house. So this is an original by Ralph Leeseberg called That's What I'm Talking About.
Yeah.
And Joe's going to cue that up for you now. Thank you, Ralph.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing to heal. There is nothing to fix. You don't need gimmicks. You don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out. There's nothing to heal. There's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about. Now I've had my share of emotional pain. Thought that I should see sunshine. All I saw was the rain. But on the other side of my worry and doubt, the sun was shining behind the clouds. That's what I'm talking about. And there is nothing to heal.
There's nothing to heal.
There is nothing to fix.
There's nothing to fix.
You don't need gimmicks. You don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out.
There's nothing to heal. There's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about.
Now when you're looking at your neighbor and you see nothing but sin, just remember he's a mirror. You better look again. Now you may wish it was different, but there's no reason to pout. When you're looking inside, there isn't much you can hide. That's what I'm talking about. And there is nothing to heal.
There's nothing to heal.
No, nothing to fix.
There's nothing to fix.
And you don't need gimmicks. You don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out.
There's nothing to heal. There's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about.
I've always been looking for my lucky star. I was pretty sure it was out there, just never knew how far. And then I waited for sundown and all the stars came out. Just 'cause I couldn't see, they were still waiting for me. That's what I'm talking about. And there is nothing to heal.
There's nothing to heal.
No, there's nothing to fix.
There's nothing to fix.
And you don't need gimmicks. No, you don't need tricks. It's all there inside, waiting to come out.
There's nothing to heal. There's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about. There's nothing to heal. There's only truth to reveal. That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Unity of Delaware. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Ralph, for that great song. I know everybody enjoyed that, as we did. That's a goodie. So thank you, Ralph, for joining us on that, or for letting us join you. And thank all of the rest of you for joining us this morning. We're blessed to have this special time together each week. We will be here again next week. Let's keep each other in prayer in between times. And right now, let's just close as we always do with our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.